All right, welcome on into the Wolverine TV. Clayton Safey here with EJ Holland, bringing you some breaking news, depending on, I guess, when you're watching this. But Michigan finally lands another commit in the 2022 class. It's been a few months here. Uh, CJ Stokes, three-star running back out of South Carolina, in for Victor's weekend. Uh, Tons of Michigan recruits in town here this weekend. One of them so far has pulled the trigger. CJ Stokes joining the class, becoming the eighth member of the Wolverines 2022 class. EJ, it's been a while, like I said, since Michigan's landed a guy in this class. They've got some gems, Will Johnson, Tyler Morris, and all these guys, but CJ Stokes, an under-the-radar three-star type guy. What does it mean for Michigan to land him?
Well, one, I think it puts an end to the drought. I mean, almost 2 months without a commitment. The last one was Tyler Morris on April 20th. Michigan needed some much needed momentum on the recruiting trail. Obviously, they entered the weekend outside of the top 20 in the national recruiting rankings, despite having a five-star commit in Will Johnson. So, not great. They needed to, close with someone. They've had two summer official visit weekends where they've had some positive vibes, but we're in the business of, actually getting commits. And so they finally were able to close the deal with CJ Stokes. And even though he's more of an under the radar guy or a little bit of an obscure commitment, considering he's, from South Carolina and only a 5.6 3-star, it still gives Michigan that momentum. It still kind of, I think, takes the pressure off the staff a little bit. Like, okay, we got one. Let's go ahead and keep rolling. Let's get the momentum going. So it came during the biggest official visit weekend of the year so far. And that maybe it encourages other guys to think about pulling the trigger. Most commitments on official visit weekends actually happen on Sunday, not Saturday. So I think it's good for Michigan to get a commitment on Saturday to kind of push guys to maybe commit on Sunday when normal commitments usually take place Sunday, Monday as guys leave campus. And then lastly, just overall, I think it's great for Mike Hart to get his first commit. This is his first verbal pledge as an assistant coach at Michigan. And, Hart trusts his evaluations. And he was a guy who was undersized and is Michigan's all-time leading rusher. And so he's going to go after guys he sees something in, and he saw something in Stokes that maybe some other schools didn't.
Yeah, and Mike Hart himself was, a little less under the radar. He actually blew up when the Wolverines' Chris Ballas posted his highlight film online and started to blow up. But so, I mean, like you said, he trusts his evaluation. I saw some Michigan fans on our message board over at thewolverine.com. Shameless plug, Blue60, the promo code to join us over there with the free trial. But some of them were saying, hey, I trust Mike Hart in his evaluation. People are excited about Mike Hart being on this coaching staff now, and rightfully so. He's been a rising star in the business. He's done this with other guys. When you look at his time in Indiana, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Syracuse for a year, he's gotten some guys, 3-star guys. I think he's gotten one 4-star, but he has developed them as well. So he trusts, what he sees on film, what he sees, from these kids in person, and then is, willing and able to develop these guys into being an even better running back. Speaking of that with CJ Stokes, what is your feel on him? I guess right now as a player, what is Michigan getting with him?
Michigan's getting a guy that is a good complement to Donovan Edwards. So, the first thing that pops out about CJ Stokes is just his speed. He runs a verified 4.41 40. That's pretty good for a high school recruit, especially one that's a verified time. So he can definitely, get down the field. If you look at his film, he breaks away from the first level, and then he's gone. He's a guy that can hit home runs, and so Donovan Edwards is a complete back. He's a complete 3-down back. He can catch passes out of the backfield. He can speed away from a defense. He can power through guys, but still, speed was always the question mark with Donovan Edwards. So you bring in a guy that has speed. I think Donovan's obviously kind of the expected face of the backfield for years to come. And in a weak year at the running back position, you just need a guy to come in and be more of a complement to Donovan as opposed to a guy you think you're going to bank on for the future. That was Donovan last cycle. So I think CJ Stokes would be a good compliment back. He's a guy that I think has really good vision. If you watch this film, he's a guy that squeezes through a lot of tight holes. He's a little more slippery than he is, quick in terms of finding those holes. And then he has the straight line speed to break away. I feel like with Stokes now on board, Michigan can kind of be selective with what they want to do with running back recruiting, which I think will be something we hit on here next.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, so we saw Michigan take two running backs last class. You mentioned obviously Donovan Edwards, a headliner, and then Tavier Dunlap, a three-star, kind of a guy, to use the term again, under the radar, out of Texas, who was an early enrollee here this spring. Do you expect Michigan to take two, I guess, in this class? And, who might be some names to know? Because, it's been a little bit of a down year, it seems like, for running back, recruiting at Michigan here. Just in terms of some of the top targets, and we've talked about this before, how some of them may be a little, not, I don't want to say scared off, but the fact that Donovan Edwards is there, the running back of the future, it seems like, for Michigan, that maybe people are a little more hesitant to jump on board. Where do you see this thing going here in 2022?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Michigan's going to take two running backs. The only, like I said, they can afford to be selective now with CJ Stokes. The only thing they're going to have to watch with CJ Stokes is if South Carolina decides to make a big push. He is a Columbia kid, so he's right down the street from South Carolina. They are keeping him warm, and that was a big thing going into the weekend with CJ Stokes was, okay, Michigan will take him, but there's that South Carolina threat, and there's the fact that the guy I want to hit on, George Pettaway, is on campus. That's the number one running back target for Michigan. He is a Rivals 250 prospect out of Virginia. So Pettaway, would be a take in this class no matter what. So even with Stokes committed, they would definitely like to have Pettaway. So in that scenario, I could see two running backs, but only if it's Pettaway. Another option would be Dylan Bell, who's currently on campus for his official visit weekend. So Hart initially offered Bell as a pure running back, but they are now giving him the flexibility to be a wide receiver. Josh Gaddis has been more involved in his recruitment. He's out of Houston, Texas. And so I think Bell would be more of an athlete take as opposed to a true running back. So you could see a combo like that. But the only other true running back I think they would take at this point would be Pettaway. And then, they might keep some other guys warm just in case the South Carolina threat becomes more real towards the end of the cycle.
There you have it. Good analysis there. EJ, tell the people what kind of coverage we have up at thewolverine.com, which they can find using, all the free content is obviously free for everybody, but if you want some of the more detailed, thoughts that EJ has on this commitment, you can use the promo code BLUE60 at thewolverine.com. What should people look for?
Yeah, so we have a commit story, we have a commit impact story with my in-depth thoughts on CJ Stokes and running back recruiting. We have where Michigan stands in the rankings coming out of the Stokes commitment, and we'll have a lot more from CJ once he wraps up his visit, and we'll have coaches' takes and all that. And then it's Victor's weekend, so we'll have a ton of coverage coming out of Michigan's biggest official visit weekend of the year.
Yeah, who doesn't love Victor's weekend? So join us at thewolverine.com, promo code BLUE60, and we'll see you over there.